Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 51, Z's, Be Careful. At noon, outside the castle, Yuta looked worriedly at Luozie who was about to set off. Kojiki Hiri and others also saw off at the door. Peggywan looked at the man on the dragon's back, and secretly made up his mind that he must work hard in cultivation, hoping to help Master Luozie in the future. Master Luozie brought their siblings out of the beast's pirates, and he always kept this kindness in his heart. Broker, come back safely. Luozie, take me with you, I'm going too. This is Hiri and Yamato, and Violet, Scarlet, etc. Everyone came to see him off. Even Gordon and Brooke felt a little uneasy. Regarding this scene, Luozie was speechless for a while. It's like parting from life and death. Don't worry, I'm going. Yuta, Hiri, Yamato, Junti, Rebecca, you practice as usual. Miss Violet, Miss Scarlet, please. Little big brother, goodbye, come back soon. Holding her mother's hand, the young Rebecca waved goodbye with a smile. Luozie smiled and said to Kuai Long, let's go. Kuai Long uttered a cry, flapped its small wings, and disappeared from everyone's sight in a blink of an eye. I hope everything is safe. Gordon murmured softly. With the guidance of the Aokiji life card, Luozie almost rushed to the destination in a straight line. According to Aokiji, the place of interception is located in the Sea of Paradise, an area of the sea near the food town. The so-called food city is only 3 islands away from the capital of 7 waters. To the east of the sea is the Calm Belt, and across the Calm Belt is the East Blue, almost half a planet across. Before 8 o'clock in the evening, Luozie reached the sky above the target sea area. Looking down from the sky, 2 ships can be seen sailing in the sea. A large warship called Marine, on the deck, even saw Aokiji and others. Following the warship is the Empress's perfume snake, which is towed by 2 huge snakes. The Empress also stood at the bow. Luozie ordered Kuai Long to descend the height, and when it was fully lowered to a distance of 100 meters, Aokiji took the lead in raising his head. It's coming, so fast. The rest of the Shishibukai also looked over. Moria said with a hint of envy, it's amazing to be able to fly. Where's the red hair? Luozie sat cross-legged on the dragon's back, but he didn't see the red hair. Pirates in his vision. They are about 300 kilometers ahead. Since you are here, let's do it. Aokiji said lightly. Do it? How? Doflamingo narrowed his eyes. Watch quietly. Aokiji leaped and jumped off the deck of the warship. Before the feet touched the sea surface was frozen, and a foothold appeared. He squatted down, stretched his hand into the sea water, and gently fiddled with the ripples. Ice Age. In an instant, the entire ocean within the field of vision froze in less than a second. The ocean turns to ice. A large amount of air conditioning diffused, giving people a cool feeling. After finishing all this, Aokiji got up lazily, and looked back at the people on the warship. Let's go, they're frozen. Shishibukai. There was cold sweat on Doflamingo's forehead, and he laughed twice. Is this the Marine Admiral? 300 kilometers away, the entire sea was instantly frozen. Ala. I'm not in good condition. Normally, I can reach a radius of 500 kilometers. Aokiji breathed out, hung his coat on his shoulders, and walked away on the ice at a leisurely pace. Hurry up and follow, come on. By the way, Luozie, if you can fly, stop them first, and don't let them run away. Note, forgot to tell you, I have an unusual relationship with Shanks. Some kind of kinship. Aokiji. He suddenly raised his head and looked at Luozie in the sky. This kid won't be the first to betray the water, right? Luozie said calmly, I have to pay more. Aokiji was speechless for a long time, and he was taken aback. If this guy betrayed him, it would be a bit difficult to deal with. I see, I will apply for a bonus for you later. Then, go slowly, I'll stop him first. Luozie patted Kuai Long's neck, and the next moment, amidst a sonic boom, the figures of 1 person and 1 dragon disappeared from the field of vision in an instant. So fast. Lockdoll couldn't help frowning. Forget about Aokiji, this brat is also a monster. On the other boat, the Empress jumped down, and a big pink boa constrictor came down with her. She stepped on the boa constrictor and came slowly towards this side. Seeing this, Aokiji immediately said to the sailors on the warship, come here slowly, and stay away before the battle is over. The Red Hair is an elite pirate group, and every crew member is very capable of fighting. Yes, Aokiji. Admiral, the other side. Red Hair Pirates, Red Force pirate ship. The sea suddenly froze, causing the pirate ship that was sailing to be stuck in the ice with a sudden bang. What happened? Is the climate here like this? Will the sea freeze instantly? No, no matter how you look at it, it's man-made. On the deck of the pirate ship, several crew members looked at each other in blank dismay. Sniper Yasop's voice can be heard from the lookout. Captain, there is bad news, do you want to hear it? He held up a telescope. Shanks stepped out of the cabin, looked up and shouted, what's wrong? Yasop. Something is coming, very fast, incredible. Yasop murmured, and the next sentence was, it's here, boom. There was a powerful sonic boom. The figure of Kuai Long instantly appeared above the ship. People come first, voices come later. Good evening, everyone of the Red Hair Pirates. Has the dragon spoken? Logi Lu, a fat chef, said blankly. No, it's Shishibukai. The deputy captain, Ben Beckman, looked serious. The red-haired man looked up at the man on the dragon's back, and said in surprise, you are Luozie, the dragon rider, 7 warlords of the sea? Did you do the freezing of the sea? What's the matter? I didn't do anything to freeze the sea, but there is something wrong. Luozie grinned. I promised Yuta, I came here to beat you up. The next moment, boom, a wave of conqueror's haki was instantly aroused and enveloped the heads of the red-haired group members. Until reinforcements arrive, none of you can leave. Chapter 52. Until reinforcements arrive, none of you can leave. With this announcement, Luozie's conqueror's haki radiated over the heads of the Red Hair Pirates. The same conquerors as Shanks. The ship Dr. Dej looked surprised. As a power that only one person can awaken among millions of people, it is a kind of kingly qualification. The conquerors contains the will of the user. At this time, the coercion from Luozie immediately made many members of the ship feel a strong sense of oppression. As if the rabbit was being targeted by a ferocious beast, its body became stiff and it became difficult to breathe. Yuta. Shanks' brow furrowed deeply. Boom. The same conqueror's momentary excitation. It seems that two invisible and qualityless spheres that are constantly spreading collide in the air. At the intersection of the two strands of haki, the sound of thunder sounded out of thin air, as the 470 blasted a wisp of power plants in the air. The ice layer cracked due to the impact, and the pirate ship was shaking slightly. The two strands of haki were in a stalemate for more than 10 seconds, and finally disappeared with a bang in a violent shock wave. As expected of the most balanced Iron Wall pirates, Luozie took his time and swept across the crowd below without any haste. There are 9 main members of Red Hair Pirates including Red Hair himself. The 9, under the shadow of his conquerors, could hardly change their countenance. I heard an unexpected name from you. Could you please explain it, Shishibukai? The redhead raised his head slightly, looked at Luozie in midair, and said, where did you hear the name Yuta? The daughter you abandoned, still won't let someone pick it up? Red Hair, I despise you? Luozie looked contemptuously. Boom! As soon as the words fell, a gunshot sounded suddenly. A bullet wrapped in the color of the weapon was shot from the barrel of the sniper Yasop from the observation tower. His marksmanship was superb. The round solid bullets swept across the straight trajectory in the air, piercing through Luozie's forehead in an instant. Yasop. Shanks immediately shouted, don't be impulsive. Sorry, can't help it. Scratching his head in embarrassment, Yasop's face did not show any happy expression of hitting the target. He stared at Luozie, whispered, dodged? No, passed through. That's rude. Luozie glanced at him, and the eternal Mangekyo Sharinon suddenly emerged, and where his eyes focused, time and space were distorted. Yasop's complexion changed suddenly. In the center of his neck, there seemed to be a tiny hole that could swallow everything. The hole is distorting space-time, like a vortex. The moment Luozie made his move, a figure jumped up from below. He was wearing a black hat with a red-haired pirate flag printed on it, and his long golden hair was extremely flowing. The footsteps borrowed strength in the air, as if turning at a right angle. They arrived in front of Luozie, and swept towards the front door with one foot. Red Hair Pirates combatant, Ramkins. The focus of Luozie's eyes shifted, and the speed of this kick was extremely fast, but the moment it touched his face, it passed through again. The next moment, Long flicked his tail, and with a bang, he slapped the person down hard. Was pierced through the deck. It hurts. Half of his body was stuck in the deck. Lime Jones held his nose, bleeding. This dragon is so powerful. The faces of the red-haired group changed slightly. On the observation deck, Usopp clutched his neck. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead. Thank you, I almost died. Be careful, this guy has weird abilities. I can see it. With a cigarette in his mouth, Beckman squinted his eyes and said, the eyes suddenly turned red, and there are strange patterns. Where the eyes are focused, the space is distorted. Calm down, everyone, Shanks said in a low voice. This guy said before the reinforcements arrive, and there are helpers. The ability to freeze the sea is Marine Admiral Aokiji, right? Beckman shook his head and said, I think we should deal with him quickly and run. Although he is also a little concerned about Yuta, but compared to the safety of all members, it is obviously not the time to ask each other. I said, you can't leave. Luozie touched Long's head, and said slowly, I'm not interested in you, I just came to beat up your captain, can you not be an eyesore? In the words, Long has opened his mouth, and the golden energy is gathering. Feeling the terrifying energy contained in it, Shanks' complexion suddenly changed. Immediately, he drew out the supreme sharp knife at his waist, and shouted to everyone, don't interfere, this is a battle between me and him. As soon as the words fell, the figure suddenly rushed towards Luozie. That's right. Luozie smiled, and also drew out the blade on his back, jumped off Long's back, and swung his sword at the opponent. The two knives were fighting in midair, both of which were wrapped in armed-colored haki. When they collided, black flashes overflowed in an instant. Tell me, Shishibukai, is Yuta in your hand? Shanks' eyes were cold. Daughter, you don't even want, don't put on an expression as if you still care. Luozie took the high position, brushed Ryujin Jaka's back with his left hand lightly, and chanted in a low voice, everything is ashes? Ryujin Jaka, puff. The explosive flames born from the blade devoured the red-haired Shanks in an instant. The two separated in midair and fell to the ice one after another. Captain Shanks. On the deck, many members were shocked. Shanks, who was covered in flames, fell to the ground, and the flames wrapped around him. The moment he landed, the ice surface was melted. He fell into the sea, swallowed by the flames that burn the soul, without making a sound. Luo said regretfully, the willpower is really tenacious. In addition to the special properties of the flame, its temperature is close to 6,000 degrees Celsius. Ordinary people die when they touch it. The next moment, a slash was triggered from below the sea surface. The flying slash tore apart the ocean, cut through the ice layer like a tofu board, and charged straight at Luozie. God escape! Luozie's right arm, holding the handle of the knife, suddenly exerted strength, and at the same time as he took a step forward, he swung his right arm and swung 0.4 times of sword art. The black slash met Shanks' slash. Boom! After the two slashes collided, there was a dull bang, and the scattered sword energy immediately punched the ice surface full of holes. At the same time, a black shadow broke out from Luozie's feet. The tip of the supreme sharp knife named Griffin pierced Luozie's neck. However, at this moment, a wonderful light blue energy appeared around Luozie, and a huge half-length warrior suddenly appeared. The samurai reached out with his right hand and grabbed Shanks. What's this time again? Shanks was caught in the air, looking shocked. Chapter 53, The half-length warriors condensed around Luozie's body were more than 20 meters tall, just like the titans of this world. At this time, he pinched the red hair with one hand and held him in the air. Who the hell are you? The swordsmanship just now was Captain Roger. He was restrained in midair, but the red-haired man didn't struggle, staring at Luozie inside the warrior, and said, what happened to Yuta? Yuta is very good. Luozie said with a half-smile, with a playful tone, I never saw you so nervous when you left someone behind. Shanks' heart suddenly hung in the air. The samurai raised his other hand and slapped him across the face, snapped. The blood was drawn directly. No resistance. You seem to have a lot of resentment towards me, Shanks said with blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. If you can beat me to vent your anger, please feel free. But, please tell me, what happened to Yuta? Then I won't be polite. Luozie controls Susanoo, slaps back and forth several times. Clap clap clap. Shanks didn't use weapons to defend. Every blow, every slap, was beaten to pieces. Captain. Boss. All the younger brothers on the boat were full of anger. Hold it! Don't move. Beckman said in a deep voice, this guy doesn't intend to kill, he's just beating people up. Although he didn't know the reason, he really couldn't feel Luozie's killing intent. Shanks didn't say a word, very rigid. Luozie slapped wildly for 10 minutes, and felt that it was boring, and there was no excitement at all if others didn't resist. He opened his mouth and said, I am the king of Elijah. Elijah. The red-haired eyes flashed, and the face that was beaten into a pig's head was full of shock. Impossible, you are Gordon. What Gordon looks like, of course he has seen it. Could it be that Gordon ate some devil fruit and turned into a child? No, he abdicated. To be precise, I am the king of the newborn Elijah. As he spoke, Luozie kept slapping his hands. He was here to flatter the redhead. And the main purpose should not be forgotten. Yuta has with an unparalleled musical talent and the blessing of singing fruit. As her manager, I will train her to become the world's #1 singer. Broker, so it is? The red hair understood. Thank you, bastard. The corner of Luozie's mouth twitched, and he struck harder. The truth about Elijah's destruction, I have already told Yuta. She is now practicing singing and dancing in the castle every day, and will also broadcast live at night. She is very happy now. The red-haired eyes were soft, and after a while, he said sadly, I'm sorry, tell her this for me. I despise you. Luozie said lightly, but don't worry, I'm not interested in killing you. In a few minutes, all Shishibukai and Marine Admiral Aokiji will arrive. Hearing this, the red-haired eyes fluctuated. Guilt towards Yuta is one aspect, but he also has to protect the crew members under his command. Facing this kind of intercepting lineup, if you don't think of a way, maybe the end of the red-hair pirates will be tonight. Because of that fruit, the red-haired thought secretly. Just about to fight back, break free, and run away with the crew. At this time, a joking voice came from the sky. Phew furfur, it seems that we don't need to take action at all. Doflamingo stood in the air with his hands in his pockets, grinning as he watched Luozie beat the red-haired violently. As expected of a dragon rider, I seem to have heard something interesting. Take care of your mouth, don't let your daughter-in-law die. Luozie glanced at him, then manipulated Susanoo, throwing his arm violently. The red hair was thrown out like a rubber ball. Doflamingo's complexion changed slightly, and immediately his 5 fingers turned into claws, and he swung forward violently. Super Strike Whiplash. Countless silk threads condensed into one strand, and the thick whip was like a sharp spear, aiming at the red-haired chest. Seeing this, the red hair cut off the long whip with a single knife, and then raised the knife with his hand and dropped it, passing Doflamingo in an instant. Puff! A stream of blood spurted out suddenly, and the flesh on Doflamingo's chest burst open. Fix one first. The red-haired stare was cold. Who do you want to solve first? Doflamingo's face was cold, and the injured part was immediately stitched with white silk thread. It's really ruthless, redhead. 5 color strings? He turned back and slapped his paw, and the thin line extending from the 5 fingers was blocked by the red hair. But the force of the impact still caused the red hair to fall downwards. The red hair who fell to the ground looked dignified. This new Shishibukai is also very strong, and it doesn't seem like he can solve it in a short time. Observation Haki unfolded, and immediately noticed that the breath of 6 paths was approaching rapidly. The distance is less than 5 kilometers. Realizing this, he immediately shouted to his subordinates, everyone, get ready to attack. Oh, is it finally ready to start? It's overdue. Hurry up and get rid of them, and then run. A group of younger brothers responded one after another and quickly came to Hongfa's side. Everyone was full of momentum, as if what they were facing was not a must-kill situation with a luxurious lineup. Kuailong flew down, Luozie jumped on its back, and said flatly, you red-hair pirates, this is the end. Doflamingo strokes the stab wound on his chest. Compared with the knife slashed by Luozie last time, which hurt the soul, the knife of the red hair simply broke through his physical defense and did not cause fatal damage. He grinned and looked at the cotters of the red-haired regiment. Phew furfur, you have nowhere to run. As soon as the voice fell, it was at this moment. Rumble. The sky is clouded over. As if a heavy rain was coming, thick clouds covered the entire sky, covering all the stars and moon in the night. Wong Wongs. Occasionally, a huge figure appeared, looming in it. It was the body of a dragon. Everyone was stunned for a moment and offered to buy. Oh cluck, I found you, brat. A huge dragon's head poked out from the dark clouds, its eyes full of murderous intent locked on Luozie. 3 Emperors Kaido. Everyone in the red-haired group turned pale with shock. Even Kaido participated in this. Interception? No, how could the pirate emperor join forces with the government? Is this world crazy? Beckman was stunned. No, we didn't come here. He looked at Luozie. Luozie was laughing. What are you doing here, a lost dog with a broken leg? Kill you. Kaido's tone was cold, and he opened his mouth to roar. Hot interest. In an instant, fiery flames fell from the sky. Chapter 54, Hot interest. Meeting Kaido is a natural disaster-level attack. Terrifying flames fell from a height of thousands of meters, illuminating the expressions of the people below. The red hair jumped up and walked away to meet the heat. He wasn't there to protect Luozie, it was simply because Kaido's attack range was too large and would affect them. There was a flash of the knife, and the red hair, who didn't hold back the slightest hand, split Kaido's heat with a sword. But the embers of the fire were not exhausted, and the flames that had been cut apart fell into the ice on both sides. Immediately, the power of ice and fire intertwined, and the endless stretch of steam filled a radius of several kilometers. What are you doing? Kaido stared at the redhead, whose huge body descended from the cloud. Can you keep my boat out of the way? I'll be in trouble without a boat, Kaido. The red hair fell back to the ice, feeling more and more heavy. It was already a headache to be intercepted, but now another Kaido appeared. I'm not interested in you, red-haired brat. Glancing at him coldly, Kaido turned his attention to Luozie again. It took me a lot of effort to find you. Thanks a lot. Out of the corner of Luozie's eye, look at the right side. Under the night, a dark figure approached rapidly. It was a pteranodon. The sharp mouth seemed to be stabbing 897, piercing through Luozie with one blow. This time, without the master's order, Kuai Long opened his mouth and bit the opponent's wings. Boom! The pteranodon's figure suddenly stopped, screaming. The Lunaria tribe. Luozie said slowly, 3 calamities. Yin struggled to break free from Kuai Long's bite, flapped his wings, and quickly retreated to create a safe distance. He stared at the dragon under Luozie's feet in surprise. As a dragon, he felt that the opponent was much stronger than him, at least in terms of strength. How did you find me? Oh, I see, it's you? Luozie knocked the opponent out, guessing a bit. Yin, who has the ability to fly, can indeed find him if he conducts aerial reconnaissance. Yin remained silent, just staring warily. At this time, the steam covering the ice surface gradually dispersed. The figure of 6 paths suddenly appeared under the eyes of everyone. Aokiji looked up at Qinglong, and said in surprise, Ah, what kind of banquet is this? Why is Kaido, one of the 3 emperors, here? Fufurfur. Doflamingo grinned, you have to ask him about that. Aokiji glanced at Luozie, then at Kaido, narrowed his eyes and said, Kaido, where's your leg? The huge blue dragon in the sky lost a section of its left hind leg. It's hard not to pay attention. Abandoned. Kaido said coldly, don't come in the way, I just came to find this stinky brat. It seems that you haven't learned your lesson yet. Do you want to give up your second leg? Luozie pouted. Marine Admiral teamed up with Shishibukai to kill the red hair pirates. In a blink of an eye, as Shishibukai himself, he was intercepted and killed by Kaido again. The scene suddenly became a tripartite force. Although it was not stated clearly, everyone understood it at once. All of them looked shocked. Kaido's leg was chopped off by this kid? Is this for revenge? Opportunity. Beckman whispered, cooperate with Kaido to get through this crisis. The redhead shook his head. Gaze over Aokiji etal lock, Hawkeye, Jinbei, Moria, One Piece. Shishibukai is really a lot. Kaido. At this moment, Moria's face was livid. 11 years ago, he led the Moria pirates into Wanakuni in high spirits, and fought against Kaido. All the crew members were killed, but he escaped. Now that he saw someone he dreamed of revenge, he even forgot what he was here for tonight. Shadow horn gun. Suddenly, he shot with anger. The shadow under his feet seemed to come alive, stretching rapidly, and when it came directly below Kaido, it shot up into the sky like a black shadow spear. Boom! A shot hit Qinglong's chin, and the powerful penetrating power only made Kaido lift the dragon's head, making it difficult to penetrate his dragon scales at all. It's you? Kaido snorted coldly. Last time I let you run away, CFCF, you should die tonight too. So tough. Moria's complexion suddenly turned dark, and the sneak attack did not break the defense, but he broke the defense. Aokiji opened his mouth and said blankly, "Hey, don't forget our purpose." No one paid him any attention. K-Lockdoll stretched out his right hand, and a miniature sandstorm was born in the palm. It seems that we are lucky. We will slay the dragon first tonight. Shellan? He didn't have much interest in red hair, but he was very interested in killing the 3 emperors. At this time, the sandstorm thrown out expanded rapidly, and spread in an instant. It spun rapidly, setting off a sandstorm and heading away. At this time, a black shadow flashed past, like a sharp black arrow. Yin pierced through the sandstorm in an instant. Boom! With a loud noise, the core of the sandstorm was broken, and it burst and dissipated in an instant. Joke? If you want to attack our captain, let me measure your strength first. Yin said lightly. The corners of Locke's mouth twitched. Aokiji felt powerless. The group of Shishibukai didn't obey orders at all. He's a little hotter. In midair, Luozie sat on Kuai-Long, looking at the chaotic battlefield, speechless. Is this the destiny? Redhead's destiny is to send that fruit to East Blue for Straw Hat Luffy to eat? And then bet on an arm by the way? Faced with such a deadly situation, without Kaido's troubles, this group of people would definitely not be able to escape. No, I don't believe in destiny. Luozie stood up from Kuai-Long, raised his head slightly, and looked at the sky covered in dark clouds. His line of sight seemed to penetrate the thick clouds, spanning endless distances, and saw a green dragon soaring in the ozone layer. Crack Karakura! He shouted loudly. Boom! The thunder that sounded out of thin air resounded across the battlefield. The night was illuminated by lightning for a moment, and then the sound of dragon chant came. The terrifying sound pressure changed the faces of everyone present. Kaido suddenly raised his head. His eyes were full of disbelief. This voice, is it? There was another thunder and lightning. In bursts of flashes, Kuai-Long carried Luozie and flew into the sky. He disappeared in a blink of an eye. What is this stinky kid going to do? The Empress was full of surprise. The next moment, 2 huge dragon claws protruded from the cloud, and immediately after that, a green dragon poked its head down. Luozie stood on top of Karakura's head, looking at Kaido quietly. Looking at your expression, it seems like you've seen Karakura before. Kaido was shocked and said in disbelief, Crack Karakura? Isn't it from Ancient Weapon? Uranus, Uranus. Looking at Luozie above the green dragon, everyone fell into a daze. Uranus? Chapter 55, the sudden appearance of Karakura made everyone present stupefied. That huge body is bigger than Kaido. Especially hearing Kaido's words, everyone couldn't believe it. Uranus. Uranus? Is this one of the 3 legendary ancient weapons? No one has seen Uranus, and no one has ever wondered why the weapon is in the form of a creature. The moment they saw Karakura, most of the people below subconsciously recognized what Kaido said. If Uranus existed, it would probably be like this. This is really an accident within an accident. Aokiji put his hand on his forehead, looked up at the green dragon, and murmured in a low voice, so the government knows something to pay special attention to this child. He remembered several special orders from the government, and the sudden visit of the CPO to the headquarters. Although he didn't know what the people from Ko-Zero were here for, but now that he saw Karakura, he understood a little bit. So. Doflamingo stood in the air, and he was stepping on an invisible silk thread, and the other end of the silk thread was connected to the clouds in the sky. His expression was equally dull, recalling the scene of meeting Luozie for the first time. So, this guy cares about national treasure? It's because they have equal weapons, so they care about what celestial dragons hold. Furor. 5 elders won't be able to sleep. He gradually grinned. The Empress looked radiant. Moria's heart trembled. Jinbei raised his head and remained silent for a long time. Lakadar looked gloomy and thoughtful. Ancient weapon, this brat actually possesses this kind of power. This is already a military history that can overturn the world. What he pursues is military power? To be a Shishibukai is also to want something. Hawkeye stared at Kai Karakura with sharp eyes, and he drew out the supreme sharp knife Black Sword Knight from his back. Uranus, just try it. He, who is usually not interested in everything, already wants to swing his sword at this moment. A hand held him down. Aokiji warned faintly, don't mess around, Hawkeye. Not to mention the attitude of the Marine side, it was originally a makeshift team with no sense of companionship at all. As the opposing red hair pirates, all feel a pang of despair. There is such a method. Usopp said with a heavy tone, this bastard boy, who claims to be Yuta's manager, should be on our side, right? Don't say something stupid. Beckman couldn't help shaking his head. In Elijah, from the moment she chooses to abandon Yuta, the two sides are not the same. Listen up. The red-haired Shanks spoke in a low voice, with a decisive tone, this guy summoned this thing to deal with Kaido. He won't use it to deal with us. If he wants to deal with us, he will do it from the beginning. Indeed, Beckman thought, but with a bad feeling, only to hear the redhead continue to say, so, our opponents are still Aokiji and those Shishibukai. However, even if this is the case, it is an extravagant hope for all of them to escape. Captain. Someone's face changed, and he already had a premonition of what to say next. Quiet and listen to me. The red-haired eyes are firm. I will hold Aokiji when we fight, and those Shishibukai don't seem to be of one mind. So, Beckman, break the ice around the ship and find a chance take a few people away. After a pause, he smiled. Calmly, I will not die. Take that thing and run away with all your might. Head towards Calm Belt. Only that thing must never fall into the hands of the world government. At the same time, heaven. Kaido stared at Karakura, his tone serious. You are Uranus, right? Why do you obey this kind of brat? He tried in vain to talk to Karakura. Karakura is clearly not interested in talking to him. Have you seen it? Luozie raised his eyebrows. Then, Karakura's voice came from my mind. Told the scene of the encounter. Kaido's dragon claws grabbed the flame cloud and quickly climbed to the same height as Karakura. The huge dragon body hovered under the dark clouds. Two dragons are staring at each other. Last time I was just unprepared, and now I have fully understood your power. Kaido looked at each other coldly. This world doesn't need so many dragons. Fire Dragon Torch. Endless flames were born from his dragon body, and the huge fire dragon he created wrapped his body. The blue dragon turned into a fire dragon. Going all out from the start? Sensible judgment, but Luozie knows that the U in Kaido's mouth refers to Karakura. You don't have a clear understanding of the power gap. Make the finishing point. In an instant, a dazzling green light shone in the sky. As Karakura's exclusive skill, the power of this move is beyond doubt. Endless fluorescent lights converged on the surface of Karakura's body. At this moment, it seemed to be transformed into a true sky god. What a beautiful gesture. Yin murmured blankly. Kaido's pupils shrank suddenly, and then he roared angrily, stop looking down on people. Rising dragon flame 8 trigrams. One red and one green. Two huge dragon shadows are rapidly approaching. No extra nonsense, each other's goals, just the purest power struggle. As one of the 3 pirate emperors in today's world, Kaido's sprinting posture is like a flame dragon that destroys the world. Not only are endless flames wrapped around him, but also conquerors winding that can only be mastered by very few strong ones. This scene seems to be very slow, but the fact is that it happened very quickly. Everyone looked up. Finally, the collision came. Like sparks hitting the earth. Boom! There was a deafening loud noise, and the heads of the 2 dragons did not touch directly. Before the contact, the power contained in each other collided in the air. With one blow, Kaido's conquerors was instantly broken, and radiated in all directions with a loud noise. As if a great fireball exploded, the night was like day. As if the sky had been cracked, the black lightning was extremely manic. The impact of the vibration caused the ice surface to sink a few centimeters in an instant, and then it collapsed. Huge craters appeared in the dark clouds in the sky, and the shock wave blew away the thick clouds, forming an absolute airspace. Master Kaido. Yin's complexion changed drastically. He already had a premonition that Kaido would lose. Green Dragon easily overwhelmed Yanlong. The picture that covered the entire sky was deeply imprinted in the hearts of everyone. Understood. Standing on top of Karakura's head, Luo Long said calmly, how can you win Karakura? Damn bastard. Kaido let out a roar, and after a stalemate for 3 seconds, with a bang, his huge body suddenly flew backwards. With a posture exceeding the speed of sound, he was knocked out from the Yanlong state. The flame coat remained in place, but its body had already been blown away by Karakura's huge force. Surrounded by extremely strong wind pressure, Kaido lost consciousness after being hit, unable to even move. "I'll settle personal grievances, please do as you please." Luozie left a word to Aokiji below, and Karakura immediately chased after him. "Master Kaido." Yin's face was ugly, and he immediately chased after him. Unfortunately, his speed is far inferior to that of Karakura, and he can only eat streaks of fluorescent green exhaust. The moment Luozie left, Aokiji made a move, childish. Endless cold air condensed on his right arm, and suddenly released a huge ice bird. Taking advantage of the moment when the red-haired people were still in a daze, he launched a sneak attack without hesitation. Where the ice bird passed, the sea that was shattered by the two dragons' fight was once again frozen. The rest of the red-hair pirates haven't reacted yet. But Shanks did not retreat but advanced, and went to meet the ice bird. "Do it." With a low shout, he slashed out. The invisible sword chi passed by, and the ice bird was cut off instantly, and the sword chi disappeared, and went straight to Aokiji and others. "I come." Hawkeye took a step forward, holding up the black sword Yaya, and slammed it under his command. The sword energy it inspires is like a first-class fan doctor. The two sword chi directly collided, and finally cancelled each other out. "I'm sorry, but under such circumstances, I will compete with you again." Hawkeye smiled faintly. "Really? Forget it, it doesn't matter." As soon as the words fell, the two moved closer to each other, and the two supreme sharp knives in their hands slashed at each other like lightning. Every time they fight each other, there will be sword energy overflowing, completely disregarding the surrounding terrain. "Ask for flowers." The ice surface was quickly chopped up again, and the pirate ship that was frozen in the ice suddenly shook. Fur, do you want to run away?" Doflamingo looked away from where Karakura left, and looked down at the red-hair pirates. Taking advantage of the aftermath of the fight between Red Hair and Hawkeye, some people have made small movements, and Yipping is about to board the boat and leave. He didn't make a move either, he was just watching a show. There are so many people present, why should he make a move? He. Red Hair pirates, your shadows will become my strength. Moria saw Kaido's tragic situation, swept away the previous haze, and now stared at the cotters, squinting her eyes quietly. "Shadow Mage?" The shadow horn spear soaring into the sky suddenly began to disintegrate, turning into pitch-black bats, and quickly scattered towards the pirate ship. Seeing this scene, the red hair bounced off Hawkeye's slash with a sword, and then turned around to kill the bat. "Your target, isn't it me?" Between the words, the sword wind from the sword directly blew away all the bats. But the bat that was shot down quickly squirmed and flew again. The redhead's heart sank. These Shishibukai are so tough. If it is one-on-one, he is confident that he can beat anyone, but if he comes up in a group, he is not overpowered. Not to mention, there is also a marine admiral watching over him. "Zero do it." Aokiji supervised the battle. Hearing this, Jinbei calmed down and didn't think about breaking up with Karakura and Luozie for the time being. "Don't forget what you promised me." He jumped into the sea and disappeared. Soon, in front of the red-haired pirate ship, the ice suddenly shattered, and a beam of sea current was thrown out. Murloc Jujutsu Sea Current one-handed overshoulder throw. Everyone on the pirate ship in the sky. "No, you can't go away like this, and you still have to keep people." Snake, one of the cotters, drew out two knives and was about to attack immediately. "I come." Behind him, a combatant named Gabu opened his mouth violently. With a roar, as if shooting out a white laser beam, Jinbei's attack was shattered with a bang. Suddenly, the sea water fell like rain. "Go, I'll stop you." The redhead left Hawkeye alone, go straight to kill Jinbei. However, a vigorous figure quickly approached from behind. Celestial dragons. The queen's speed was extremely fast, she jumped over Hawkeye in an instant, kicked out with a long leg, and kicked the red hair hard with her black high heels. Perfume femur. The red-haired complexion changed, and he immediately raised his knife to resist. Boom! The tangled arm-colored kick was blocked by the red hair. However, the part where the blade touches the high-heeled shoes, the rare supreme sharp knife in the world, is turning into stone. Click! Broken? The redhead was stunned. Weapons gone. Capable again? Trouble. He held the broken blade, feeling bitter in his heart. He alone could block 7. No. 6 Shishibukai? Even if these people just shot casually, he can't stop it alone? Taking a deep breath, the red hair gripped the broken blade tightly, and a wave of conquerors suddenly radiated to the audience. Boom! There seemed to be a roar in everyone's ears. If that's the case, let's all come here. Last stand? The other side. Kaido was shot tens of thousands of meters away. Suddenly, Qinglong's pupils regained their spirit. As a phantom beast, he has unparalleled resilience. Damn. He tried hard to maintain his figure, constantly creating flame clouds, and constantly grasping the flame clouds with his claws, trying to stop himself. Cannot stop. His head was dizzy, and his eyes were red with blood. In the field of vision, a touch of emerald green figure is chasing and killing him without any haste. Kaido's complexion changed. At this moment, he no longer thought about it. How could this kind of monster survive? His strongest blow was defeated by the opponent. Thinking of this, he immediately changed his strategy, and began to accelerate his escape with the help of the knock-up force. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Chapter 56, Consciousness Recovered. Luozie stood on top of Karakura, chasing Kaido leisurely. Seeing that the opponent suddenly changed his posture and accelerated to flee, he was slightly taken aback. Also ordering Karakura to speed up, Luozie simply sat down. He was not in a hurry to attack the opponent. He first consumed the opponent's physical strength. Kaido fled in front, and the knowledgeable caller could feel the breath from behind gradually approaching. Close, but not quite catching up. This is obviously deliberate. Damn brat. Kaido felt annoyed in his heart. Since he had a broken leg last time, he had seriously considered how to deal with Luozie. Only 2 people are needed. One person restrains the opponent, prevents the opponent from launching the ability to distort time and space, and then enters a war of attrition, trying to consume the opponent to death. So, this time 2-4-3 he brought his capable subordinate Yin together to surround and kill them. But never expected, this stinky brat actually holds the power of Uranus. Where are you fleeing to? Luozie's voice came from behind again. Kaido was furious, and roared when he turned around. The scorching flame condensed in the mouth and shot out suddenly. Cracking Karakura immediately raised his body, blocking the heat with a paw. The flames fell to the ice below, causing a huge explosion. Not bad, very energetic. Luozie teased with a relaxed tone. Kaido kept silent and started running away with all his heart. The 2 dragons started at an altitude of 1,000 meters and climbed rapidly. After chasing and fleeing, no one stopped. When rushing to the Bibai, which is 10,000 meters above the sea level, it even passed a sky island, which frightened the residents of the island into commotion. 1,000 kilometers, 5,000 kilometers, 10,000 kilometers every day? Period, even across the red line. From the night hemisphere to the day hemisphere. Gradually, Kaido slowed down. Sitting on top of Karakura's head, Luozie, who was breathing heavily, suddenly regained some energy. Is this lack of physical strength? How long will the cat and mouse game last? Kaido snorted coldly and said, even if you catch up with me for 10 days and 10 nights, my physical strength will not be exhausted. As expected of pirate world, they are all physical monsters. Luozie stretched his waist. Karakura is the god who dominates the sky, it can fly in the air forever. Kaido was speechless for a moment, but he didn't doubt whether it was true or not, and the other party didn't need to lie to him. What do you want? You can't escape, and you can't consume it. I'm the one asking you this question. It's nothing to attack me. What gave you confidence? Who knew you still had ancient weapon Uranus? Kaido was furious in his heart. If he knew, he wouldn't come at all. Where is my daughter? He said coldly. You still care about Yamato? Luozie said unexpectedly. She is very good. After a while, you can see her on the live broadcast. The premise is that you are still alive. Live streaming? Kaido frowned. In my treasury, the 2 Zoan ancient devil fruits were also taken by you. Certainly. Luozie nodded. This kind of small black pot, if you recite it, you will recite it. Runty and Peggywan are both his subordinates now, and it's nothing to help his subordinates take the blame. You still want to go back? He mocked. I'll see you off? Kaido dismissed it. You have been chasing me for so long, and you are not in a hurry to do it. What do you want to do? Slap. Luozie couldn't help applauding. The outside world calls you a reckless man. Your head turns unexpectedly fast. Kaido's complexion suddenly turned bad. He was ridiculed face to face, but he couldn't fight back. In fact, he guessed it early on. The fact that the other party didn't kill him immediately meant that the other party didn't intend to kill him. He just wanted to run and try to see if he could run away. Now the answer is obvious. He can't run away at all, and he is completely teasing him with the mentality of playing cat and mouse. Even if he flies around the planet 10 times, when he turns around, the green dragon will still be behind him. I admit defeat. Kaido gritted his teeth and said, "Tell me, what do you want?" Luozie glanced at him appreciatively, and said slowly, "You were on the ship of the Rocks pirates. You know Rocks." Kaido frowned. This matter should be erased by the government. 26 years ago, a black and evil force that was once famous all over the world. Captain Rocks DZBek, vainly trying to become the king of the world. There are a lot of talents under his command. The 3 emperors in the world today, Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom are all his crew members. In addition, there are 3 legendary pirates Golden Lion who are as famous as Rybeard and Roger. Great pirates Silver Axe, Captain John, Akoku, and more. It can be said to be a vicious and extremely powerful pirate group. The overall combat power of this pirate group even exceeds that of the Roger pirate group of One Piece King Roger. But such a group of people were wiped out in a place called the Valley of Gods. Afterwards, the Valley of the Gods disappeared from the map. Tell me, how did the Valley of the Gods disappear? Luozie asked calmly, as the person involved. You don't know. That's not going away because of the Great War. If it was because of the fighting, the island would not disappear completely, at least there would be some wreckage left, right? Therefore, Luozie suspected that I did it with the national treasure. Sorry, I don't know. Kaido grinned, and seemed to understand something instantly. It seems that you, like me, are on the same road. Considering that the other party has Uranus in their hands, the purpose of the other party asking this question is obvious. In defense of the world government? You don't know. Luozie inspected. I don't need to lie to you. Kaido snorted and said with a smile, I have already recognized your strength. He, you also want to overthrow this world? Don't think about it. Join me. The 2 of us together, the whole world will be ours. Whitebeard, Charlotte Linlin, Marine, World Government 5.1, no one can stop us. After a pause, he narrowed his eyes again. Why did you take my daughter away? Because you fell in love with her? Join forces with me, and I can give you Yamato. You don't have a problem if you want her to be a maid. As expected of a pirate, he would use seductive tactics to send his daughter without any hesitation. She is in my hands now, still need you to send it. Luozie curled his lips and said lightly, tell me the specific situation of the Valley of Gods, otherwise, I will die here. Chapter 57. Kaido stared at Luozie firmly, but didn't rush to answer, but was thinking about another thing. He is seriously considering whether he can join forces with the other party to start a world war and destroy the possibility of the world government winning the final victory. With the power displayed by Karakura, it only takes one blow to destroy the holy land of Marijois. Oh really don't think about it. Kaido felt that there was a chance of winning, and the odds were great. What do you want? Women? Money? Power? Join forces with me. All these are within your reach. There is no need to be a Shishibukai. Luozie was completely unmoved by this temptation. What he wants, he will naturally get it himself, and he will join hands with Duo. You just need to answer my question, no more nonsense. Hearing this, Kaido was silent for a moment, and said, then tell you everything I know. As a participant in that war, he did know a lot. At this time, let's talk about it. That was the 6th year when I joined the Rocks Pirates, that is, in 1484, 26 years ago. At that time, Linlin, who was still a companion, told me that something big happened in the Valley of the Gods, so all of us went to that place. After 25 hearing this, Luozie frowned slightly. Not the same as he knew. The Valley of the Gods incident, provoked by rocks, attacked the celestial dragons located on that island. But Kaido said, first something happened in the Valley of the Gods, and then rocks decided to bring people there? Note, Wait a minute, he interrupted immediately. What's the big deal in the Valley of the Gods? I don't know. Kaido shook his head. I haven't seen it at all, I just know it's something very attractive to rocks. Luozie stared. He felt that Kaido was not telling the truth. There is a high probability that the other party knows what that thing is, even if they really don't know, at least they know something. I only heard Kaido go on to say, but not only our rocks pirates were attracted, but also the Roger pirates at that time. What he said afterwards was similar to what Luozie knew. The rocks pirate group had internal strife, and Roger and Garp, who were on the island at the time, teamed up to defeat the rocks. It was also after this battle that he became a marine hero. After the war, the Valley of the Gods disappeared and was wiped off the map. So, the Valley of the Gods will be buried by the government, not because of the rocks pirates, but because of something on that island? That is the so-called big thing happened. Luozie grabbed out of focus. Oh he, that's true. Kaido grinned and said. This is what happened in the Valley of the Gods. As for what method the world government used to completely erase that island, unfortunately, no one knows. Luozie fell into deep thought. The world government wants to erase the traces of the existence of the rocks pirates. The purpose is not the rocks and the others, but to prevent people from knowing that this group was wiped out in the Valley of the Gods. Once known, some people will be interested in the disappearance of the Valley of Gods, and then continue to explore the truth. Is it Nika fruit? Luozie thought speculatively. The Valley of the Gods, the devil fruit with the name of the gods, it is not uncommon for the two to be related. According to the theory of destiny, it is very possible. However, this is not the focus of his concern. What he wants to know is the means by which the world government erases the Valley of the Gods. Now that you know this, what do you want to do? Kaido grinned and asked with great interest. It's useless. Luozie glanced at him and said lightly, it's not what I want to do, but what you should do next. What? Kaido frowned, not understanding what he meant. Kaido, I can spare your life, but what you said does not have the information I want to know. Now, I will give you a chance to attack the Holy Land. Marijois destroy the headquarters building of the world government. Luozie said calmly. Hearing this, Kaido's eyelids twitched violently. Are you crazy, or am I crazy? Go, or die. Faced with this multiple choice question, Kaido's dragon claws couldn't help clenching a bit. Am I going to attack the Holy Land of Celestial Dragons? He narrowed his eyes and said coldly, even I can't get out. Once you go, you can't come back. Then I have no choice but to kill you here. As soon as the voice fell, Karakura opened his mouth, and the terrifying golden energy gathered rapidly. Kaido broke into a cold sweat. I know, yes. I'll do it. Compared to being beaten to death on the spot, Kaido was still very straightforward. But, what do you want to know? There is always a purpose in doing this, right? To force out the power hidden by the world government? You don't need to know, I'll see how you behave. Luozie is not interested in explaining to the other party. The tool man just needs to be obedient. Don't try to fool me, I know where your base camp is. World government can erase the power of Godgu. I don't mind smashing your ghost island to pieces either. Kaido snorted unhappily, turned around, twisted the dragon's body, and left quickly. Luozie didn't stop him. Kaido is used to being caught by the world government. Not much this time. As for whether he can escape again after being caught, Luozie doesn't care. He just wanted to know if I would make a move and what his strength was. Hope Kaido can perform better. Watching the other party disappear into the sky, Luozie withdrew his gaze. Thanks a lot. Slapping Karakura's head, Luozie released Kuai Long, and then jumped on Kuai Long's back. Little master, see you next time. The voice of Karakura cracked in his head, and then the huge green dragon flew towards the ozone layer. Next, has the redhead finished the 547? Luozie looked back at the direction he came from, and whispered, it's quite a long way to fly back, so I'll make a phone call later to ask. Compared to this, where is this? Flying all the way with Kaido, he didn't even know where it was. Long, go down and have a look, find an island to see the situation. Descending from a height of 10,000 meters, soon, the endless ocean appeared in view. Luozie let out a small sigh below the field of vision. On the sea, there is a pirate ship with a strange shape. On the deck of the ship, a group of pirates armed with weapons sneered and surrounded a young woman. Hey, Hey, you woman, you are really cunning, and you were almost tricked by you. At the age of 8, the government offered a reward of 79 million Baileys. Nico Robin, son of the devil. Are you 18 now? What a beauty? Let us have a good time before selling you to the government. The young woman who was forced to the corner of the deck did not panic, but crossed her hands in front of her. Above. Luozie thought silently, Nico Robin. Archaeologist. So, this is West Blue, Chapter 58, Nico Robin. Luozie looked at this woman from a height. As one of the heroines, of course it is impossible for him not to know her. Compared with the 28-year-old appearance in memory, the 18-year-old Nico Robin is a little immature. At the age of 28, she is a mature image of Yuja, but in Luozie's view, she is more girlish at this time. Wearing a light green t-shirt and a white short skirt, she is youthful and beautiful with outstanding appearance. Facing the siege of a group of pirates, there was no panic on his delicate face. Go down. Luozie touched Kui Long's head and signaled him to lower his height. We came to a place 20 or 30 meters above the heads of the pirates. He was thinking about whether to take him away directly and take him back to be trained as a member of the backup dance troupe, or to use gentler means. After all, she is a big girl, not as easy to deal with as a little girl. She has her own ideas and will. Regarding his arrival, the pirates seemed to be completely unaware that there was a dragon above their heads. Because of the angle, they can't see it. But Robin found out. She was about to deal with this group of pirates. Suddenly, looking up slightly, he saw Luozie and Kui Long, and was slightly startled. Shishibukai, Dragon Rider, Luozie? She recognized it at a glance, immediately gave up resisting, and instead shouted to a high place, "Help me! Luozie! Do you still need help?" Luozie has a black question mark on his face. As a person who was wanted at the age of 8, it is just a small scene right now. Hearing Robin's shout, all the smirking pirates froze for a moment, then looked up. Dragon, dragon. You are the dragon rider of one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Why is Shishibukai in this kind of place? Shouldn't it be on the Grand Line? The pirates panicked a little. Recently, news about Shishibukai has continued one after another. As long as the news is not completely blocked, everyone knows about the current 7. Their photos have already spread all over the world along with newspapers. Luozie said, "Why should I save you? Please, please help me." Robin hurriedly said, "I'm willing to do anything." Luozie glanced at the system subconsciously. Great, no response? Sure enough, I prefer younger girls. Can you dance? No, I can learn. Hearing this, Luozie couldn't help laughing. I probably know what the opponent is playing. In order to avoid the pursuit of the world government, I saw a young Shishibukai, so I wanted to use this opportunity to hide by his side. Luozie didn't care about this. There are only 5 people in the dance troupe, which is not enough. Now that they have met, they must take them back. Come on up. Luozie asked Kui Long to lower the altitude, and stretched out his hand to pull Robin up to the army. Seeing this scene, all the pirates suddenly thumped, and the captain immediately showed a flattering expression. Since it's Shishibukai-sama, whoever you want, please feel free. We didn't see anything. With Shishabukai's power and status, no one would care to cover up a wanted criminal. But what they don't know is that Nico Robin is different. I don't like trouble. No trouble, no trouble. The pirates shook their heads quickly. Who are you guys? Luozie asked casually. My name is Kaga, and I'm the captain of the Kaga pirates. Where's the bounty? Reward, bounty 46.9 million. Kaga, who had a bad feeling, answered boldly. Robin sits behind Luozie in a duck posture, quietly looking at the rumored Shishibukai. He looked like a child of 11 or 12 years old, and it was impossible to judge his strength from his appearance. But the dragon under the seat made her feel very cute. From now on, let's parasitize next to this person. She was thinking about what method to use. Her identity is very sensitive. The other party has definitely heard the previous conversation and knows who she is. If she is sent to the hands of the world government, she will be finished. Luozie didn't know what the woman behind him was thinking, so he said calmly, I don't want the world government to know, so please go to the sea to feed the fish. Fast dragon, storm. Hearing this, the expressions of the pirates changed drastically. Captain, kill him. This bastard, even a Shishibukai wind. Kuai-Long just flapped its small wings, and a storm was set off on the sea. The storm passed through the border, and a big wave was rolled up. When the top of the wave fell, this strangely shaped pirate ship was overturned immediately. The pirates screamed and panicked, begging for mercy. Luozie was unmoved and just watched quietly. Behind him, Robin's eyes narrowed slightly. Because of the strong wind, she had to grab Luozie's arm to avoid being blown down. Is this Shishibukai? It is completely different from ordinary pirates? The introduction in the news is that each of them has a huge combat power comparable to that of a country. But hearing is not as good as seeing. The scene at the moment made Robin startled. Gone. After all the pirates were buried in the sea, Luozie called Kuai-Long to leave, then turned around and asked Robin behind him, "Do you know which direction the Grand Line is?" "Over there." Robin subconsciously pointed. "Aren't you afraid that I will send you to the government?" Luozie let Kuai-Long move forward, and asked again, "I heard everything. Your name is Nico Robin, a wanted criminal by the government, and a survivor of the O'Hara incident." Hearing the word O'Hara, Robin suddenly became nervous. "I'm sorry, that's all, please don't, I'm willing to do anything." "Don't be nervous, let's go back to Elijah first." Luozie took out a phone bug from the Kamui space and dialed the number. "Luozie." Aokiji's voice appeared on the opposite side, seeming a bit tired. "Are you finished playing over there? How about Kaido?" The two were asking at almost the same time. "Run by Kaido, you are indeed the pirate emperor." Luozie replied casually, "Did the red hair catch it?" "Mission failed." Aokiji's voice was tired. Luozie was full of astonishment. "Can this also be eliminated? What happened?" "Ah, this, it's better for you to ask Pirate Empress." Aokiji said in a helpless tone, "It's all because of her." Luozie, "Did it kill people? Turn them into stone?" "The requirement of the task is to capture them alive. If they are killed, it is indeed a failure." "Tell me the number." After getting the Empress's contact information, Luozie hung up Aokiji's communication, turned around and called the Empress again. "It's me, Smelly Child." The Empress' voice was also a little tired. "I heard you beat Redhead to death." Empress, Chapter 59. While West Blue was still in the daytime, it was still in the dark night before dawn in the Interception Sea area of the Sea of Paradise. The frozen sea area of Marine Admiral Aokiji has already become fragmented due to the long melee. The pirate ship Perfume Snake is slowly returning to its voyage. In its poop, large bathroom. The Empress leaned naked by the side of the bath, her white arms stretched out from the warm water covered with roses. She grabbed the receiver of a phone bug, and listened to the voice from the opposite side with a confused face. "I heard you beat Redhead to death. What kind of rumor is this?" The Queen's voice was slightly tired. The third sister on the side, Marigold, brought a glass of juice. "My lord, juice." The Empress took a sip, and heard the person on the other side say, "Don't you hate celestial dragons? If it was you, you would definitely kill them if you had the chance." Pfft. Cough cough. The Empress choked on her mouth, frowned and said, "Smelly Child, what do you know?" "I just happen to know a little bit." "So, what do you know? You want to know that much? Then you said it." "I won't tell you." The Empress' eyebrows trembled. If this guy was in front of her, she would really like to give him a kiss. Gun. Marigold on the side had weird eyes, and it was rare to see my elder sister have such big mood swings. "That stinky kid is really good, he can make his elder sister angry, and she wants to say something amazing before she turns into a stone." "I'm not talking on the phone with you, tell me what happened." The phone bug opened his mouth again. Hearing this, the Empress raised the corners of her mouth slightly, snorted, and said word by word, "I won't tell you either." On the other side, West Blue is empty. Luozie sat on Kuai-Long's back, looking at the receiver with disgust on his face. "Children, are you still playing with this?" He just didn't want to irritate the Empress, and he didn't talk about the Empress' unbearable past. This was the tenderness from the elders. It's a pity that the other party didn't appreciate it. "I have good news for you. During the recent period, remember to pay more attention to the newspapers. 063 newspaper. The Holy Land Marijois is going to be bumped soon, and maybe kill a few celestial dragons, or a 5 elders or 2. Sure enough, the Empress was interested, and her voice changed. "What are you planning? Are you using your green dragon to blow up the world government?" As he spoke, His tone was a little high. Sounds very interesting. So, tell me what's going on over there with the redhead. Seeing that you care so much, let me tell you. Then, she briefly told what happened after he left. After listening, Luozie was a little surprised. As a result, the mission did fail. 1 Admiral, 7, 6 Shishibuki's interception. Still let the red-haired Shanks run in the end. But it's not all failure. Only 3 people escaped. Captain Shanks, Chef Lackey Road, and Navigator Bendick Snake. Everyone else was arrested, including the deputy captain, Ben Beckman. It can be said that after World War I, the Red Hair Pirates were almost wiped out. Knowing this result, Luozie felt unreasonable. The red-haired Shanks, who is the target of the mission, how could he escape? Aokiji told me that he was able to escape because of you. It was your good deed. Luozie decisively sold Aokiji. The Empress held the hands of the receiver, and unconsciously exerted a little force, almost crushing the thing. She gritted her teeth. In the beginning, that celestial dragons was indeed cornered, and my concubine kicked him and broke his knife, but then, he learned a new ability in a death battle. New abilities. In order to protect others from evacuating, he wanted to stop 6 Shishibukai by himself, and learned Conqueror's Winding in the desperate situation. The Queen's tone was very unhappy. I feel annoyed that I failed to kill a celestial dragons. After all, such opportunities are rare. When Luozie heard this, he was stunned. Worthy of being a redhead, 4 emperors 6 years later, this situation can still improve. Unexpected, a little, CFCD, but not very unexpected. As the only one of the first generation of 4 emperors who has no fruit ability, the redhead is best at haki. In the future, his conquerors can even be said to be at the ceiling level of this world. Just like that. Luozie shook his head and said, just like that, why did the pheasant say it was all because of you? That's because. The Empress was at a loss for words, and finally said after a while, after the concubine broke his sword and lost his weapon, he actually learned to turn his conquerors into a sword. In order to fight against the ability of my concubine, he has grown rapidly in the battle. It's really abominable. Lying in the bath, the Empress bit her thumb and said in a complaining tone. Luozie nodded knowingly. The knife is broken? It was kicked by sweet fruit. The redhead without a weapon can't stop the petrification power of the sweet fruit. The external environment forces him to grow his conquerors. As expected of you, Boya Hancock, if you have the opportunity, please also learn from me. I also want to learn Conqueror's Winding, Teacher Empress. Luozie could already imagine what happened specifically. I couldn't help but make a joke, and then hung up the communication. This guy. The Empress was so angry that she crushed the receiver. My lord, there's no need to get angry with that brat. Marigold comforted with a wry smile. As he spoke, he cursed in his heart, knowing that this will happen, but still answering other people's communications. My sis is really uneducated. Forgot to ask the most important thing. Luozie cut off the phone bug's thoughts, and then remembered the key question. What about Nika fruit? It should have been taken away. After all, no one was caught. Behind him, Robin, who was forced to eavesdrop, thought to himself, Boya Hancock? Aokiji. One is the most beautiful pirate empress in the world, one of the Shishibukai, which she saw in the newspaper. As for the other, that is someone I met when I was very young. A few hours later, Elegia. When the two got off Quailong's back and stepped into the castle, a system prompt came from their minds. A new dancer has joined. At this time, new songs should be extracted from the music library. To celebrate the increase of Companion's long-lost reminder, Luozie immediately started the lottery. Congratulations on getting the score backlight. This is the song Yuta sang. Luozie had a delicate expression. This is a very emotional song. The whole song is full of anger, expressed in a thick voice, angry. At the same time, this song is also called Tuan Mimi Divine Comedy. When Yuta sang this song in the movie, Tuan Mi was an understatement for Straw Hat Crew. Suddenly picked up this song, Luozie's expression is very subtle. Because not long ago, the Red Hair Pirates were almost wiped out by the group. Diva Training Task, Professor Yuta sings backlight, and when the singing score reaches 60 points, a random devil fruit, Logia, will be rewarded. Sure enough, a new task appeared. And the rewards are also very attractive. Logia's devil fruit is a rare species in this world. Today's marine 3 admirals are frozen fruit, lava fruit, and sparkling fruit. It's all Logia. Just don't have a maramara fruit. Thinking of this, Luozie walked into the castle, and saw the busy maids head on, and saluted him one after another. His Majesty. Where's Yuta? Miss Yuta is in the dance studio. Luozie nodded, greeted Robin, and said, come with me. Robin surveyed his surroundings, secretly surprised. So the boy is the king? Looking at the back of the other party, her eyes flickered, and on the way back, the two chatted a little. The other party wanted her to join a dance troupe, to learn to dance. Correspondingly, she will also be sheltered. While thinking, the two came to the door of the dance studio. There was still the sign during class, men are not allowed to enter, hanging in front of the door. Luozie naturally ignored it and pushed the door open. The girls who were practicing dancing stopped one after another and cast their gazes. Ziz, you are finally back. A happy expression appeared on Yuta's face. Broker, welcome back. Luozie, is it fun? Tell me, I'm super interested. Master Luozie. Mr. Luozie. A group of girls, big and small, greeted him one after another, and they were used to him running to the dance studio if he had nothing to do. Come in. Luozie said something to Robin, then closed the door of the dance studio, and said to the girls, let me introduce to you, this is a new member of the dance troupe. Hello, my name is Nico Robin, I'm 18 years old. Robin looked curiously at the girls in the room. There is something subtle in my heart. This Shishibukai has a wide range of hobbies, from childhood to adulthood, each with its own merits. I don't know what he wants to do to cultivate a dance troupe. Robin, welcome to Elijah. Yuta ran over in small steps, first greeted the new members, and then stared at Luozie with burning eyes. Zzz. Looking at her expression, Luozie knew what she wanted to say. Shanks ran, government action failed. Touching the little girl's head, he said with a smile, this trip, I just got a little inspiration and wrote a new song. I will teach you later. As soon as he heard that his father was fine, Yuta breathed a sigh of relief, then looked at Luozie with admiration and said, are you writing a new song again? You are awesome, Ziz, go and write it down. Luozie nodded, turned to Robin and said, you should get to know everyone first. I will write a song and hold a welcome party tonight. Yes. Robin has no objection. She is indeed quite curious about this group. All the girls are so beautiful. After leaving the dance studio, Luozie went straight to the music room. The song Backlight is very difficult to sing, and it puts a lot of burden on the voice. I don't know if Yuta can sing to 60 points. While he was writing the song silently, a group of girls in the dance room welcomed Robin. Miss Robin, was it forcibly captured by the manager? Where are you from? West Blue? Luozie ran so far away, damn it, he didn't take me with him. Sister is so beautiful, no wonder Ziz brought you back. Robin smiled at the enthusiasm of the girls. As a woman who has been fleeing since she was 8 years old and has been living in a dark world, 10 years of hard work has given her the excellent ability to perceive words and emotions. She discovered that the group of women was headed by a little girl named Yuta. The two teachers in the dance troupe have outstanding temperament, maybe they are aristocrats. The tall woman named Yamato didn't look very smart, but she was the most enthusiastic, and she kept asking about some outside things around her. A very beautiful woman named Kojiki Hiri mentioned Luozie's when you name them, there will always be a strange look in your eyes. And Runty, Rebecca. She quickly knew everyone's names. I come from a place called O'Hara. During the conversation, Robin told her story. She didn't know why she said it naturally. Maybe everyone was too warm and sincerely welcomed her. Of course, the more important thing is that Luozie already knew about this matter, and she has no need to hide it. Night. A welcome party was held in the restaurant. Luozie taught Yuta the song, which is really difficult to sing. With the guidance and help of Gordon and Brooke, Yuta sang more than 10 times in a row, even his throat was almost dry, and the singing score finally reached 60 points. My anger, let's beat those villains away now, that is the punishment of love. I can't sleep at night. I can't sleep at night. I can't sleep. I am no longer sad, no longer sad, so, my anger, kick those villains away now. Mission completed. Congratulations on getting Logia Devil Fruit. Chapter 60. The welcome party to welcome Robin eventually turned into a concert for everyone. The bustle lasted until late at night. Even teachers Violet and Scarlet ran to the stage to perform dances. After the show, Luozie went to take a shower. Soaking in the bathtub, he took out the mission reward for this time. Logia Yuyu fruit. Ocean blue, the fruit shape of raindrops. The fruit stalks are divided into 6 branches, and the ends of the hanging branches are also 6 small raindrops. If it's not Maramara fruit, it's a success. Playing with the fruit in his hand, Luozie pondered whether to eat it by himself. It's a logia after all. A rare thing. But the most suitable for him is actually not logia, but Zoan, preferably a phantom beast. All his current abilities, swordsmanship, Sherinon, and Zanpakuto, all 3 abilities rely on physical strength to activate. And eating phantom beast species can bring him a very strong physique. Therefore, this logia fruit has an improvement for him, but the improvement is not the greatest. The task of the next stage is. Luozie turned on the system and took a look. Sure enough, as he expected, there is still a follow-up. If backlight reaches 80 points, the reward will be a random devil fruit, Zoan Eudemon species. Or wait for the next one. When the Yuyu fruit was collected into the Kamui space, Luozie wondered who could eat this thing. Thinking about it carefully, the people in the castle are basically capable people. The new robin is Paramecia flower fruit. Yamato is the form of Zoan, dog fruit, phantom beast species, big mouth true god. Yuta is Paramecia song fruit. Run is Zoan dragon fruit ancient species Pachycephalosaurus form. Violet is Paramecia goggle fruit. Brook is the fruit of Paramecia Huangquan. Peggywan is the form of Zoan dragon fruit ancient species spineback dragon. After careful calculation, only Kojiki Hiri, Scarlet, Rebecca, and Gordon are left, who are not capable users. None of them fit. Luozie shook his head, thinking of another person, Nami, who is still in East Blue. Grandmaster Meteorology, a woman with superb navigating talent, is more suitable for Yu-Gi-Oh! When will Arlong get out of prison? Deal with this guy first, and then bring him back. Uncle Shu, I am so considerate. You have not come yet, and the fruits are all ready for you. Luozie sighed in his heart. While Luozie was taking a leisurely bath, on the other side, the warship returning. The Shishibukai have all left, and only Jinbei remains. At this time, in the cell inside the warship, many members of the Red Hair Pirates were put in sea stone shackles and imprisoned. Is this ship going to the deep sea prison? Outside the cell, Jinbei said to Aokiji, I'm going to meet Arlong. I won't be there until at least a week later. As for whether I can see you, I still have to agree with the superiors. Aokiji looked at Beckman in the cell, and said lazily, should you have it? Beckman, who was covered in injuries, raised his head slightly and did not speak, as did the others. The red-haired lifeguard. Aokiji continued, the 3 people who were run away can be anyone, just hand over their lifecards, and the higher authorities may be lenient and give you freedom. Bah! Yesop bawled, who would betray your companions? Stop looking down on people, Minister Marine. Beckman shook his head, nothing like that. Aokiji scratched his curly hair, with a helpless face, they ran into the calm belt, and the red hair hit me again, maybe they will be eaten by hordes of sea kings. You gave the lifecard, at least if we catch it, we can survive. No one paid him any attention. That's it, I understand. Aokiji didn't force it either. This has all been ran away, how should I report to the above? Thinking of this, he turned and left the cell. He took out the phone bug and dialed the number of his superior while walking. There are 2 things that need to be reported. Rund. Naval Headquarters, Marshal's Office. Sengoku frowned, are you kidding? 1 Admiral, 7 Shishibukai, can this also be run away? It's a bit of a deep reason. Compared to this, the phone bug opened his mouth and began to change the subject, about the Dragon Master Luozie. Sengoku's pupils constricted when he heard about Karakura. Are you sure it's an ancient weapon? Whoever sees that kind of thing thinks it's Uranus. Kaido came to make trouble and was driven away by him. This kind of ambiguous answer. Aokiji? I'm the one reporting to the top. Sengoku's face darkened. Looking at the receiver in his hand, he was speechless for a long time. How to report to above? After a while, a sailor came to the door and reported, Marshal, just now the communications department received a photo from Aokiji Admiral. Photo? Here. Sengoku got the photo, and when he saw it, he was shocked. In the dark sky, there are 2 dragons, one in front and one behind. The one running in front is obviously Kaido, as for the green dragon behind. Ask for flowers. Uranus, ancient weapon, the power to destroy the world? In Sengoku's head, these 3 words popped out instantly. He understood Aokiji's words right away. No matter who it is, the first thing that comes to mind is Uranus. No wonder the 5 elders are treating that brat, it seems the government knows about it. Thinking of this, Sengoku immediately picked up the phone bug and reported the situation to the world government. The information about the mission to kill the red hair pirates was passed up layer by layer, and finally reached the ears of the 5 elders. Marijoi's, Panga City, among the powers. 5 old men representing the supreme power of celestial dragons are sitting on 3 sofas. Everyone's expression is not very good. The blonde 5 elders put his hand to his forehead and hung up on Sengoku. We intercepted the whereabouts of the red hair in advance and paid close attention to their course. The formation of Shishibukai was completed in the shortest time through various means. There was even a marine admiral dispatched just in case things went wrong. Even so, or was it run away? Hearing what he said, Goatee 5 elders sighed. That fruit, with its own will, seems to be hiding from our world government. This kind of killer lineup went out, but it still failed. Failure to catch the redheads is a failure, and it is useless to catch those cotters. They are nothing more than being sent to the deep-sea prison, with a few more mouths to eat. To prevent accidents, they didn't even tell Marine about the Nica fruit. Even Aokiji, who went to the front line, didn't know. The person in charge of recycling is hiding in the dark. Compared to this, the matter of cracking Karakura, 5 elders, who was holding a knife, said in a low voice. As soon as these words came out, everyone immediately looked at each other in blank dismay. After a while, someone from the group spoke. The power that can easily defeat Kaido is definitely an ancient weapon. Is Uranus of this generation in the form of a dragon? No, not necessarily. What kind of attitude should we adopt? Dragon controller Luozie, what kind of relationship does this guy have with Karakura? This is no longer something we can discuss. Now that the matter is up to now, we can only report to that adult. After a moment of silence, Qianren got up. Soon after, the 5 old men came to the depths of Panga City and stood outside a room filled with the fragrance of birds and flowers. Kikai knelt down. Master, there is an important event that needs to be reported to you, Juan. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.